Yo, what's up guys, it's Locus and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to find offsets and reverse engineer Roblox. You know, this is for people who want to get into making Roblox cheats or reverse engineering Roblox. As always, Discord will be in the description for my Roblox cheat, which is coming out very soon, in June. It's going to be great, but yeah, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to do this. So we're going to be using IDA Pro for reverse engineering. You know, you can use Ghidra or whatever. This tutorial is going to be specifically tailored towards IDA because of the stuff I'm going to do in it. You know, stuff might be different in Binary Ninja or Ghidra. Those are other reverse engineering programs. So let's get started. So we're going to start with actually decompiling Roblox first. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can either use Vulkan V2, which is a improved version of this dumper, which dumps Roblox games. So you can either use this. It's just a little better. You can read this if you want. It's a more optimized version, I guess. I don't know, I just found this. Or you can use this. This is actually, it's the same thing. This is just like a better version. It's a fork. So you can use this, and this is actually already compiled for you, I believe. So yeah, so you can just actually dump right away. Or you can use this, which you have to compile yourself. It's a pain in the ass because you also have to install something with VCPKG to use. Right here, arg parse, you have to install that. And also make sure when you compile this to set it to multi-byte character set as well, or else you're going to get an error. But if you want, you can use this. Everything will be linked in the description. There's also this, which is a dedicated P dumper for Roblox that I found on the Roblox Offsets Discord. I'm just going to show you guys an example of how to use this. So I have Roblox open right here. As you see, I'm in a game. I'll show you guys both ways. So it tells you the way to do the way to use it. But I'll just demonstrate real quick. So I'm gonna open a command prompt, and I have as you can see, I have the exe, which I downloaded right here in here, and all you have to do is write the name of the exe. And then put 100. It's 100 by default, but let's write 100 anyway. And as long as you have Roblox open, and you hit enter, it will go ahead and decrypt and dump Roblox for you, which is pretty nice. Now this is, of course, depending on how fast your PC is. I am recording on my PC, so it's a little slower. I do have pretty good specs though, so this is going to be very fast. Probably going to be slower on yours, maybe, unless, you know, you have a good computer. But yeah, mine's done. There you go. Or you could use, this is Vulkan V2 compiled. I compiled it. And the way you use that is, oh, not that. They have the usage right here. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it. By the way, you can paste by right clicking in CMD if you didn't know that. I'm going to change the name to Vulkan V2 because that's what I have it named as in this directory. And then the process is going to be Roblox player beta.exe. And then the output is going to be the folder. I'm going to call it Roblox dumped 2 because I already have Roblox dumped in there for when I was testing this. And then resolve imports to resolve imports. It just makes it so these are resolved. So we're gonna hit enter here. I'm gonna try not to use as many complex terms like as I can. You know, I'm not here to buzzword spam or fucking sound smart. I'm not here to sound smart because, like, you know, you get to trying to learn, and I am not like an expert at all this. You know, I'm sure there's people that have been doing this for way longer than me, but you know, that's how you start. So after this is all dumped, This one actually dumps every module. So you'll look here, and then every single module is dumped. But the main one you're going to open is this. Just look at the one with the Roblox icon. If you right-click it and go to Properties too, you'll see Roblox Game Client. That's how you know. These ones are just, yeah, it'll tell you a description of what they do. But you don't actually need any of these. There's also one at the bottom here, which is also a Roblox Game Client, but at a different location. So I guess I would go with, actually this one looks like it's a smaller. I would probably go with this instead at the bottom. But I don't know. I would probably just use this. Seems pretty nice, but if you have problems with this, like it's not analyzing right, or your import table's fucked, then I would use Vulkan V2 or Vulkan if you have problems with Vulkan V2 and you don't want to compile it. Up to you. This is just a little outdated. So yeah, I mean, once you have a dumped thing, you're gonna open IDA and then hit OK, and you're gonna open your dumped file. So I'll just open it right here, and it's gonna ask you this. Just leave it, and hit OK. It's gonna say your import sort of destroyed. Hit OK. Hit no on this. And here you go. Dope. So now your import table is going to be created. You're going to notice that your functions are big, and that's because we need to rebase the program. Because when you make actual cheats, you are going to have a different image base. So you have to rebase the program. Because, all right, wait, let's go to, edit. And why is it not showing up? Oh, is it because that's because I'm selected on that. So I go to edit, and then you're gonna go to rebase or segments, and then rebase program, and rebase it to 0x0, and make sure these two are selected. And okay, and that's gonna rebase, and now your functions are all pretty, which is good. You can view your imports, and you have your imports. Very nice. So yeah, now what you need to do is you'll see at the top here that this is analyzing. So you need to wait for this to analyze, which is going to take a very long time. So yeah, you're going to wait for this everything to be this tan color. Okay. Now I, of course, for the sake of the video, am not going to wait for that. So I'm actually just going to open one that I already have analyzed, which is the latest version right here. This is already analyzed. And what I'm also going to do is open this, which is the Roblox 2022 PDV leak, which has all the symbols. So every function is named, every class definition, structures, everything. I'm not going to actually leave a link to this because I don't know if I actually can distribute that because I'm sure this was not obtained legally, but you could find it very easily. Like, I'm sure if you look up Roblox 2022 PDV leak, we are devs, you could find it very easily. Hint, hint, but yeah. And you can also find newer versions of these. I'm just using the 2022 one. I'm sure 2025 is more up to date because they have changed some stuff, but the structures for most things are identical, if not very similar. And you'll be able to see in your new dump of the latest what changed, which is actually good. All right. So I'm going to open this now in IDA. And I'm going to open... let's open... we'll open the 2B version here. And like I said, I already have all of it analyzed, so I don't have to wait to analyze. I'll open my second monitor. So as you see, it's all tan, and it has everything identified except for these parts, but this is data that, like, you can see, it's just nonsense. So we don't care about that. let's actually close Roblox, and I'm gonna also open the PDB link, because what we want to do is have it side by side, so we can see symbols. Let's open the Roblox Studio .exe, load existing, and I'm gonna move that over to my second monitor, right? For now. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to find the invalidate lighting, invalidate skybox offset, because I feel like that's a pretty, not robust, but pretty, you know, it's a good starter offset. It's not too simple by looking at one string, and too difficult by traversing 8 different functions and extracting all of them, which isn't very hard, but you know. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's just introduce you to IDA. Also, once again, make sure you go to segments and go to rebase. Make sure you are rebased to 0. Just rebase RVA, and yeah. So there's 2 things. If you go to view, open subviews, and strings, you have every single you have strings that are very helpful, because if you look up what you're trying to find, like for example, I'll look up lighting, all of a sudden you have all of these strings on places you can look. So for example, if I was trying to find the lighting changed event, I'm sure I could find it through this lighting change string, which if I click on has an xref. So yeah, so it'll tell you where all this is, like the functions that this is referenced in, which in this case is an offset. So I mean, I'm sure it's it, but it'll tell you. All right, so let's find. Let's go ahead and find invalidate lighting. So basically, let me just give you a little context, what you kind of need for this. Invalidate lighting is a function in the Roblox render view, which basically makes it so it resets the lighting cache. So Roblox caches all lighting properties like brightness and the skybox and fog, and it caches it so it doesn't have to keep retrieving it, and it only flushes it whenever it needs to for optimization purposes. So if you want to manually reset it, then you need to write to the render view plus the offset, which gives you the function, right? So you can reset it. And if you want to, resetting the lighting is different than resetting the skybox. If you reset the lighting, if you reset the skybox, you need to reset the skybox separately from the lighting, basically. All right. So let's get into how you do it. So a really good way that I like to at least know what I'm looking for is by going to this website right here, which has all the Roblox offsets. Thanks, I'm Theo. He's an admin in the offsets Discord. And it is an automatic. It automatically updates with all the offsets, or a bunch of external offsets that you could use, right? So if we look up the render view, you'll see that sky valid is in here, and it's wrong. So it's probably wrong because pattern is probably wrong, which I'll show you guys. Talk to you guys about signatures. His lighting valid is right though. So this is, we know that these 2 things have to be in the render view because you go from the render view to these things. So you can reach these things from the render view. All right, let's find the render view. So let's go to strings and let's look up render view, right? And you get all of these. Now I like to reference the PDB link here, or PDB leak. Because in the PDB here, you'll see that you can look up render view, and you can see the strings, which has less because it's either not analyzed or what you would call it. It's just older, so there was less strings. And if you double click on render view, you basically have all the symbols, and you can look here. Every symbol is here. So if we actually control F and look up invalidate lighting, which is what it's called to reset the Lightning cache. Oh, I looked up. You'll see that it's in the render view. So we double click on it and hit tab on our keyboard to view the pseudocode, and you'll see here that this is the function, right? And you have this, which is, of course, these are all named. So you could exref this and hit OK and see where else it's used. Actually, well, it's just using these two functions. So you'll see this is the structure of the function, but more importantly, you can see that it takes in the render view, which is this. So this, we must be able to get, we can get the render view from this, and it also takes in if we should update the skybox or not, right? But we're not internal, right? This is for external. So if you were internal, you could actually call this function directly and update the skybox. But if you're external, you have to write to an offset, right? So let's get into it. So we know the structure of this function now. We just have to find it, right? So if we exref this, or we exref the render view and hit OK, you'll see that here's the function, but the function is not in the render view. It's in something called bind workspace, right? So if you hit X on bind workspace, and you'll see where bind workspace is called. If we hit OK, bind workspace is called in right here. So this little symbol means destructor. So this is called in the destructor of the render view, right? So we have to find the destructor of the render view. So if we hit X on this and hit OK, you'll see that the render view is destructed here. But more importantly, if we go into the function for this again, you'll see that there's a string here called render view destroyed. So we could find the destructor from looking up this string. So the easiest way to do this all is if there's a string in a function, you can search the string and find the function in whatever version it is, unless they remove the string. That's how it works, right? So we see flog render view destroyed. We can literally just hover over this. Oh, okay. And Control C, and then look it up, and it's right here. This is the latest version. We double click on it, and we get an xref, and I actually already have this. Oh, I already have this named, right? So I'll just rename it. All right, it's already named. All right. Well, ignore this. This is gonna say sub underscore because you can name your own functions, and that's what I do, or it's what you can do. So click on this, and you hit X, and you hit OK, and hit tab on your keyboard to view the pseudocode. And one can assume that if we compare these two, oh, okay. If we compare these two, all right, this is the PDB leak, and this is the decrypted. That, as you see, there's an if statement, and there's the log, right? But now we need to find bind workspace. So a really easy way that I figured this out is that if you go to this up here and hit X on it, one of the xrefs is actually bind workspace, and it's the very bottom one, right? So knowing that, and knowing that this is wrapped in an if statement which contains this, and that if we look at this if statement, these two are the same exact things, right? If these two are the same exact things, including this, and we look here, and it's reading this, we can assume that this flog view roblox init is the same as this. So we hit X on our keyboard and click on this bottom right here and hit OK. We can now assume that we're in bind workspace, and we are even confirmed that we're in bind workspace by seeing this bind workspace new data model, old data model. So it's doing some logging for the bind workspace function. So now we can assume that we're in bind workspace. And if we go back to our PDB leak, and we go into bind workspace, which we can just do by doing this, right? We have to find where invalidate lighting is. So invalidate lighting is actually, it'll be way easier if I just do this. Invalidate lighting is right here. So it's not going to be the same lines down because there's, of course, we have all the types here, but you could see that it's v72 equals this, right? And this is a function, so it's going to be v72 equals function, and then this function plus, or this variable now, plus 1 equals this. So this is the pattern we're looking for. We're looking for two keywords next to each other, and one of them equals a function. All right. So if we go back here and we scroll down, we need to find two keywords, that equal a function. This is equals a variable, and you'll find it right here. Now I actually already have it named. Like I said, I have this named, right? If I rename this, there you go, right? Two functions or two keywords, and one of them equals a function. There you go. All right. That's the same pattern that we saw right here. It's a little different, but it's the same thing, right? You have two keywords, and they equal this. And if you even look, if you look above it, actually, they actually changed that, so above it. But also, another thing you can look at is that it's wrapped in an if statement, which is this to data model pointer, right? Which is v36, but it's wrapped in an if statement, so we can assume that this would be lighting valid. But before you even assume anything, you can literally just open it, right? You hit double click on it, and bam, right? There you go. This function looks literally almost the exact same as this function. It's the two bools. It takes in two variables, right? Of course, we're not going to know it's just guessing the types, because that's what it has to do, because it doesn't have the actual type, so it's guessing. But yeah, no, two variables, and I think it's both a fast call. Of course, IDA's also guessing this, the caller, but yeah, so it's pretty much the same. If you see back and forth, pretty much the same, right? And I actually have a comment here, which I encourage you, whenever you find something, right click, rename, give it a name, and you're okay. So when you can play this in the future, and you can look at older Roblox versions and compare. I am assuming that, or I know that this is Skyblock's valid right here. And the way I know that is because you look here, and it says Skyblock's valid equals v3. So I'm assuming that this to Skyblock's valid equals whatever, because it's the same pattern. Now you might say, you can literally see the pattern here, actually, because you can look here, and this is the cloud's valid, and it's not. So this is Skyblock. Whatever this is Skyblock's valid, and this is A2. So this, we know A2 is Skyblock's valid, and you don't even have to follow this, because you can just see the Skyblock's valid is right here, because it sets it to V6. Because if we look at V6 here, V6 would be this. V6 is this. So if not V2, it's Skyblock's valid. So we know that this is setting here. And the only one that has this equals a variable, right, is Skyblock's valid and cloud's valid. And we know cloud's valid has two knots, right? And we know that Skyblock's valid only has equals variable. So we can assume that this is Skyblock's valid, right? Now, of course, this is not in offset form, because 797 is not in hex form, right? It's in decimal form. So if we do 797 to hex, which I'll show you right here, we get OX31D, which is our Skyblock's valid offset. And that means that this right here, Sky valid, is wrong. So, this offset is wrong. Like I said, I only had to find this manually because this is wrong. So I had to find Skyblock's valid myself manually. But yeah. And then you can also see lighting valid right here equals OX50, which means that I'm assuming that this one that equals 0 is lighting valid, because it says lighting valid equals 0. So 336. Let me do 336 to hex. And yep, you get OX50, which means that this is right. So lighting valid is OX50. But yeah, that's basically how you do it. That's how you find an offset in IDA. I'll just show you guys one more time. Yeah, but all you have to do is, if you hit X or whatever, it'll show you wherever this is referenced. You can hit OK, and then you'll get here, and this is all assembly. So hit Tab to view IDA decompiling it, and then and then you can follow the path that I sent. Now you may be asking, when Roblox updates, this is all going to become obsolete, because all of these addresses are going to change, because that's how it works, right? So what you need to do is make a pattern. So the way you do that is you hit X, or first we'll go back to, we'll find lighting valid. Actually, once you name it, you can actually just search it right here. Which is the good thing about naming it, if you want to find it quickly. And hit tab on that, and here's the assembly for it. And then you can click on it, right click SIGMaker, and hit, and you, by the way, you can download this at you can download this. You can look online, look up SIGMaker, SIGMaker IDA, and you can download this. It's a plugin, and you click on it, and you hit OK, and what it'll do is it'll generate a signature for you, so you don't have to continuously find it. So we get this signature right here, and now if you go to search, sequence of bytes, hit find all occurrences, paste it, hit OK. There you go. It gives you lightning valid, and you hit tab on your keyboard, and now you have invalidate lightning. So what this will do is I'll actually just demonstrate this right now. If we open IDA on a different Roblox version, so this is EC, this is like 3 versions ago, right? And we go to search, sequence of bytes, and paste that same byte sequence in, you get this, and you hit tab on it, and hit OK, and look, we're back in lightning valid. There you go. So that is a pattern, and sometimes they do break because the way it is it's identifying a pattern in assembly instructions. That's why it's called a pattern, or a signature. They're the same thing. And yeah, so of course, if it drastically changes, then yeah, the pattern could not work anymore. But it should last. It depends on how long the pattern is. If it's longer, it's usually more promising. And I won't explain all that now. But yeah, so once again, that's how you make a pattern. Once you find a function, and so by the way, some functions you can't actually make a pattern for, because or not all, some areas are just like insignificant, so you can't really make a pattern for them because the pattern's gonna be too short to where the pattern is not a pattern anymore, because the pattern's in 80 different other places. So yeah, but all you do is, remember, you hit tab. This is IDA's the decompilation that IDA does, and this is the assembly code, right? So, and by the way, you're not going to have this unless you have IDA Pro. So make sure you have IDA Pro, right? And like I said, you can use SIGMaker, right click. If you look it up, I'll actually just show you right now. Right here, SIGMaker, IDA, click on the first one. And here you go. It tells you exactly how to install it, literally exactly. And also you can do this to speed it up. And yeah, so the way you do it, find the function, right click, SIGMaker, hit OK, and then it'll give you your signature, and go and paste it and save it somewhere. So yeah, there you go. You get your signature, and yeah, you can use it across versions. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple, and that is how you make signatures, find offsets, and dump and decrypt Roblox. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, go out there and make some hacks. Alright, I'm out. Goodbye. Go join the Discord. It's in the description. Go join.